It's interesting with most disorders of the body, people accept that, and they're not overly curious enough to mention it to someone. But with a voice disorder such as mine, people are openly curious. You can't imagine how many times I had people come up to me and say, "What's wrong with your voice? Why do you talk that way?" If you don't mind me asking, what's wrong with your voice? I know this may sound a little rude, but I'm just curious what's wrong with your voice. Does it bother me? Sometimes. Does it hold me back? Absolutely not. It's interesting that I've had this condition for years and years and years. And every doctor I've ever seen will ask me about it, but they have never really put a name to it until I went to a doctor who is totally not in that field. And she said, "How long have you had spasmodic dysphonia?" And it just clicked. I had a name to this disorder. So I did a lot of research, and I also made an appointment with the ear, nose, and throat specialist. And what I found out is spasmodic dysphonia is a disorder, not of your voice necessarily, but in a part of your brain called basal ganglia, which controls your voice box. It controls your vocal cords. It actually controls other areas of your body as well, your motor skills. My spasmodic dysphonia, I have found from research, actually not only it's a problem, a disorder in my voice, but it also is a problem in my neck and my body right to have shakiness in different parts in my body, mostly my voice. And it's not curable. And it is caught. It can be it can be hereditary. It can be caused by too much use of your voice box. And it also can be caused by stress. And I believe mine was caused from all of the above. When I was younger, I never had this. I didn't. But probably 20, 30 years ago, I felt it coming on, and it's just progressively gotten worse. I am so glad that I have found out what it is, because in my research, you can actually, excuse me, lose your voice. And as you can see, as I'm speaking, it's becoming more laborious. I feel my voice tightening up as I'm talking to you. And that's what seems to be happening. So, as I mentioned, there's no cure, but there is treatment. And I finally went to a ear, nose, and throat doctor, and I had a tube. They ran a tube through my nose down to my vocal cords and observed what was taking place. And they did diagnose it as spasmodic dysphonia. No cure, but the treatment is very interesting. They do an injection of what is called botulinum toxic. And it's actually, you've heard of botulism when foods are processed incorrectly. That is the same kind of botulism. And they inject it into my voice box, into my vocal cords, and it lasts about 4 months. It will make my voice softer, and it will smooth it out, but it will be softer and harder to hear, possibly, for some people. But, so there you go. It's just something that I've dealt with, and it's getting worse, and I fear that I'm losing my voice. I just finished 4 years at the university where I had to speak dozens of times in assignments I've had in different classes. I've had to give dozens of presentations, and I just tell people my voice shakes, not because I'm afraid of you, but because I have a voice disorder. So I kind of make a joke out of it. But it is a little disconcerting to have people, complete strangers, come up and ask you what's wrong with your voice. But I felt that this would be a video, excuse me, that would be educational for people who see my next videos and wonder what's wrong with her voice. Now you know.